Junk inefficiency. Scrappage policy can work if incentives are confined to fuel efficient vehicle replacements. So, the scrappage policy, which was introduced by the government a few months ago, it can only work when incentives are confined to fuel efficient vehicle replacements. So, what the author is basically trying to say is that the new scrappage policy, it could only work properly only when the government would do another step. And here he says that the other step is to add incentives only on fuel efficient vehicle replacements. So basically, when we replace certain parts of the vehicle, we have a cost to pay. And if our vehicle is fuel efficient, that is and that is if our vehicle's age is less than 15 years, we would get a small amount of discount. So by doing so, we could increase the chances of maintaining more fuel efficient vehicles in our country. The much awaited vehicle scrappage policy announced by the Transport Ministry, coming after the move for a green tax on aging and polluting automobiles, promises economic benefits and a cleaner environment and thousands of jobs. So the much awaited vehicle scrappage policy. So this scrappage is obviously it's obviously awaited by by many people, and it was announced by the Transport Ministry, as we know. Um, and it's coming out very soon in a few months. But before the new scrappage policy comes into action, these um, green tax and all green tax green tax on the vehicles whose age is more than 15 years should be will be done. And all of these things together, they promise a lot of jobs for the people in the future, and also obviously a cleaner and a greener environment. Although it will take until April 1, 2022 for vehicles belonging to the government and public sector to be scrapped, another year thereafter to identify just heavy commercial vehicles through mandatory fitness checks, and finally other vehicles by 2024. It is a constructive roadmap. Um, I just said that the scrappage policy, it would take some months. Uh, to be accurate, it would be until April 1 in 2022 for the scrappage policy to work, to be implemented. And before that, we have the new law of green taxing on the vehicles which are polluting and which are not green. So basically, they are aged above 15 years. So all of these laws will be soon implemented. But before all this, another year of but before all this, we need to do one thing, and that is we need to another year after to identify just junk heavy commercial vehicles. Now we also have heavy commercial vehicles, for example, like buses, trucks, lorries, and so on. So these types of vehicles are extremely dangerous, and a small mistake in these vehicles could lead to a lots of life loss. So we need to be very sure in the safety of these types of vehicles. So before we implement any one of the laws that we have discussed, we need to make sure that all of these vehicles remain safe. So we need to implement regular fitness checks of the vehicle. So we will first start with the fitness checks of the vehicles, which are huge, like I said, like lorries, trucks, and etc. And then slowly we'll move on to every vehicle by 2024. It is like constructed roadmap. It will be no easy task, however, to put in place a credible system of automated fitness checking centers with tell from states to access whether commercial and private vehicles are roadworthy after 15 and 20 years, respectively, as the policy envisages. So this task, it is definitely not an easy one, but it is doable. It also becomes somewhat easy when the states cooperate and help the center in the way they want to. So um, the the states can help in many ways. They could give the center the information about the private and the government vehicles in their own state, and also give the government about the and also give government information about the vehicles which are overaged or the vehicles which are above 20 years and 15 years. And if they are overaged, according to the green taxing policy and scrappage policy, are they still worthy to be on the road according to the company, or according to their current state. So all of these data, the states could give all of these data terms to the center, and it would be a big favor for the central government. Equally important, the enforcement will be key to get them scrapped, and once they are found unfit for use, and to stop them from moving in smaller towns. States must also come on board to provide road tax and registration concessions, while automobile industry is expected to sweeten the deal with genuine discounts on new vehicles. So the states could also help the center in this way. The states must come on board to provide road tax and registration concessions. So it should be giving concessions to the vehicles which are fuel efficient, or the vehicles which are basically aged below 15, or any age that the state wanted to be. And also the state government is not the only asset which could be a help to this center, but the automobile industry is also an asset. It could help the government and encourage the people to use more fuel efficient vehicles, or to buy new vehicles and sell their old vehicles which are aged above 15 years or 20 years, by decreasing the prices and decreasing the taxes on the new vehicles, so that people would be attracted more to the new vehicles which are also much fuel efficient, and much more modern, and much more comfortable than their previous one. Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari, who has limited success with the enforcement of the amended Motor Vehicles Act of 2019, because states are not entirely on board, has the difficult task of ensuring that the scrappage plan gets their support and the backing of manufacturers who stand to benefit from a spurt in demand. So the problem is that neither the state nor the automobile industries are willing to help the central government. So the current transport minister Nitin Gadkari, he's having a quite difficult time, and this is not new to him, because most of the times the law which he tried to implement were not implemented successfully, and even in the cases in which they were implemented, they did not work out properly. So he has been having a hard time. Heavy commercial vehicles, which contribute disproportionately to pollution, 1.7 million lakh fitness certificates, pose the biggest challenge. So coming to the points which we have discussed already. This is the point of the fitness checks on the heavy vehicles like lorries, trucks, and so on. Um, so we have a lot of heavy vehicles in India, obviously, and 1.7 million of them don't have the fitness of the vehicles fitness which they need to. So, and this is why, and this is one of the main reasons why the vehicle accidents, especially the heavy vehicle accidents in India, are extremely high. Many of this cannot be replaced quickly in the absence of financial arrangements for small operators who have opposed the new measures. So changing these vehicles immediately is not possible. It is not possible for the central government. It is also not possible for the owners who are just small time drivers or small time workers, because they don't have enough money to change their vehicle, and obviously all of them have opposed the new laws. Vehicle scrappage and replacement is seen internationally as a route to regenerate COVID-19 affected economies by privileging green technologies, notably electric vehicles, and also an initiative to achieve net zero emissions by mid-century under Paris Agreement commitments. So vehicle scrappage, we have just discussed what it would do to our to keep our environment green, or to keep our environment fresh. So in this, being on the same page, we also have another problem, and that problem is the one which we are currently facing right now, and that is the problem of the COVID-19 disease. So by this new motor vehicle law, or the green taxing law, or the scrappage policy, it would also help. It would also help the Indian economy to recover more quickly. And because many people in India, and many trucks which we have discussed right now, about 1.7 million of them, and also many normal vehicles in India are aged above 15 years, and they need to be replaced according to the new rules. So when people do buy when people do buy the new vehicles, it becomes a boost to our economy. So obviously our GDP will increase, and our economic situation will alleviate. And also we would also achieve one of our goals, which is to record a total of net zero emissions or net zero pollutions by the vehicles in India, and this is a part of the Paris Agreement. India's automobile ecosystem is complex, with dominant legacy motors spanning fossil fuel driven vehicles and a nascent EV segment. The industry share pre-COVID was about 7.5% of the GDP, with significant downstream employment, but it also imposes a fuel import burden. The center has to arrive at a balance and have incentives that reward manufacturers of vehicles that are most fuel efficient. So the main theme of this whole editorial is this point. This the center it has to give some incentives. It has to give some incentives to the vehicle manufacturing companies, which would make their vehicles very fuel efficient, and if possible electric vehicles too. So if this becomes possible, it would be a huge leap both for the economic condition and also for the COVID-19 alleviation. Failure to prioritize fuel efficiency and mandate even higher standards and enhance taxes on fuel guzzlers will only repeat the mistakes of vehicle exchange programs abroad, where full environmental benefits could not be realized and taxpayers ended up subsiding in inefficiency. So we also have another way to do what the central government decided to do, or at least what the other the center has to do. The first point, the, th- the this aspect is that the center could increase the taxes on fuel guzzling vehicles, or the vehicles which take a lot amount of fuel and are extremely fuel inefficient. So this it is a good plan, but it most probably won't work, because the last time when the central government implemented this type of action, it did not work out properly. So the center is not going to do this again, but instead it is going to follow the plan which we have just discussed. Ecological scrapping as a concept must lead to high rates of materials recovery, reduce air pollution, and mining and pressure on the environment. So if this plan succeeds, and when we get the new scrappage policy in 2021 April 1st, all of us should hope that this plan works. And if we are still suffering with the COVID-19 problem, even in the year of 2022, as much as we are suffering right now, the new scrappage policy and all of these plans, if they were implemented properly, we would have a lot of alleviation. Thank you.